yesterday, and now they're trying to get back on the right track against the reigning national champions. And so here we go. Day number 2 of the day from Sunrise after UMass has been a godsend for him. Here's Condon inside. Immediately draws a double. Thomas Houck left alone. You don't want to do that. He has made 50 starters for GW. Little crossover. Tyrone Marshall Jr. scoop shot off the window and in. Coach Caputo Jr. back into the starting lineup over the last couple. Lee left alone. He's trying to play with some confidence. He's got some flash to him. He's on his left alone.
That's a deep one there early in the clock. I like getting that side ball screen, but a little bit early.
Man, reverse look. Going to get a line change here at the home of the Florida Panthers. Next dead ball. You know, send 4 new guys in.
Yeah, they play a lot of guys, and most of their in the court.
So here's Thomas Houck. 75% from the free throw line for the junior.
A lot easier than what they put on themselves this year. So, and they've been right in there in those games. They just 50 balls, and Florida's guarding them well on the perimeter, unable to finish the possession. But George Washington, can you get any penetration? And that's a good job.
Condon. Lee gives it up. Condon for 3. Rebounding
of being a 3-point threat.
Luke Hunger, 5-man for George Washington off the mark, and now Lee got another, his second triple of the game. He came in.
Now you got the cross-court pass because of the attention he brings.
And Longton 7-1. Boogie Flan for 3. He's missed a couple of them from out there. Very few options to find reserves to eat up that playing time, or just to give the guys a mental reset. And
out defensively, I think he'll be just fine.
4-on-2 break for Florida. Lee finds Ingram. An extra pass to Houck for the jam. As
outrun you and get those easy 2s night in, night out.
Another offensive rebound for George Washington. Castro with the finish. 6'11" senior. Back to Houck. 10 to shoot. Lee gets the screen from Houck. Nothing there. 17-footer good.
He's very comfortable. You see there Florida going side to side, but they like to play in the middle of the court a little bit more so than they did a year ago.
And 3-ball good from the top of the key for Tyrone Martin. Johnson goes inside, and Castro fouled. For 9 from deep. 9 of their 11 shots have come from behind the arc. Castro took a bump and tried to work it inside. It's
making that extra pass because they are a willing passing team.
Already 4 offensive rebounds for George Washington. Here's Marshall, and he finishes.
Neat up there.
Boogie Flan 0 for 3 from deep. Christian Jones on the other side. Up the window and in.
Well, and sometimes can you turn one down? I'm not saying don't play with confidence, but shot fake, get the ball moving a little bit deeper in the clock.
Oof. Some empty spots in KenPom ratings. However, they think to get the A10 back to being not just a multi-bid league, but
program, and the metrics tend to agree, and I do. I think, as you mentioned, that St. Louis stuff
2, and only 3 since 2019. 2 of those were against A10 foe Dayton. They haven't knocked off a top-time assistant to Jim Larinaga. First at George Mason, and then at Miami, just down the street. No good from the wing. That team today, back at Mason. Houck steps back, whips around to fire the 3. Think that guy's playing with some confidence. Inbounded to Garden against UConn with a chance to perhaps tie. 3-ball banked in. They're open in South Florida. Trey Autry's first make it. Florida led this game by 8 at one point, and now
the Florida team that's second best in the country at offensive rebounds, and they haven't even given themselves any opportunities.
Castro stole it, lost it, got it back, and the result is a foul underneath on.
And 2 of 4 from 2. I just think if they can get some inside shots, it leads to the inside rebounds that they are so lethal at. Here you go.
Lee dumps it off, and a finish by Handlock.
If we can get him in a little weave action and going downhill to his right, he is a really good playmaker. You saw it right there.
Good switch. Castro jump hook off the window.
that turnover just a moment ago. He had Hand-Lockton, and Hand-Lockton wasn't quite ready, expecting the pass.
Castro finds Marshall with the back cut.
In a similar fashion, and George Washington executed one of Florida's own plays.
Ruben Chinyelu with the little jump hook for his first bucket of the game. In his hip. He started his college career at Princeton, never got on the court, and had to withdraw from class to battle as Xavier Lee hits the fatal.
He's on his way. If he can continue this double-digit rebound per game, first Gator in 50 years to do so.
Hauk got his footing on the three. Hauk and Condon in the backcourt. Here's Lee. They went under the screen, can't make him pay, and it's knocked out.
I think that's where the things really start to open them up.
Hauk got off balance and followed his own miss.
Yeah, I thought he got away with the travel. He lost balance.
Jones dumps it inside. Here's Luke Hunger. Got deep, tried to reverse it. Condon with the block. It'll belong to Florida.
Of the transfers and all that, you get more film on guys, but that was a bunch of guys that were overlooked in high school that came together.
What a feed from Klobuchar. Christian Jones gets by Klobuchar, and it ends up being a layup.
He's giving them some much-needed depth.
I'll bring it back out. 1:10 to play in the first half. A deep three. Yeah! Trey Dinkins, preseason. Here's Chinyelu banging with Hunger. And he's fouled.
Yeah, he gets the foul the second half the way they did in the first.
Hauk down the lane. Nice feed.
And again, turning some of those three-point shots down. You don't know if he's going to go fast, slow up. I mean, he just really baits the defense.
Golden was talking to us about his history at Princeton, and he said he was a great player on a not great team. So of Indiana's Fernando Mendoza, Vandy's Diego Pavia, and Ohio State's Julian Sand are the finalists here. There's Chinyelu up ahead to Lee. Little spin, 3-on-2. And Boogie Flan, the Condon with the steal. Now he's taking it all the way. Lob. Chinyelu all alone, and the game's taking control here in the second half. Back cut. That's a beautiful play out of the timeout. And here's Flan. Gets baseline. Xavier Lee in the other corner. Got it. Garrett Johnson drains for the rebound and steals it. Hauk to Condon. It all started with Book.
Good action, though.
Flan, nobody stops the ball.
And holds him off. In some ways, it feels like an illegal screen, but if it's a legit post-up.
Hand-Lockton, 7-footer. Just muscles his way down. Hand-Lockton moves it around the wing. Pull up. He had 36 points in limited time last year for the national champions. Throw attempt of the year.
And they asked, do you remember when you beat your brother AJ? He goes, oh yeah.
Been 22-7 since the break. Here's Boogie Flan. Lob. And it gets home.
To see him get in the paint, he's a really good passer, had a really nice assist-to-turnover ratio a year ago.
Interrupted by a thumb injury. Had to have ligament surgery last year.
What a big win for Arkansas today. That's down, you actually get further away from the basket. You're like, I should have just not tried to dribble. Castro's going a little bit faster, but I think a more sluggish type game is to their advantage in this one.
Yeah, Delaware put the Flan goes opposite the screen. Off balance, threw it out. Boogie Flan knocks in the half.
And since then, just about 9 minutes, or excuse me, 9 points since. So
Castro to Chinyelu. Hauk got his man in the air. Hello! Tommy Hauk with the Johnson off the mark. Chinyelu the rebound. Flan, there's the seal. And the one-hand flush. Chinyelu. Well, Kentucky has its problems. They're trying to solve it. Florida's solved all of their issues, it seems.
Points or so a game in transition just by anticipating and run.
Here's Hauk behind Chinyelu. Oh, man, we got a 2-point takedown. Emotional response in the postgame to their loss this midweek. And he really sounded like a coach in losing to McNeese. We have a higher expectation. There he is as a youngster, playing host to Hofstra today. Knocks the second one. You missing shots? Doesn't matter. Get better. 2-on-1. Houck, lob. The lob steal. Autry cut off. Nowhere to go. Somehow muscled it in.
Well, I think becoming a facilitator and getting into the paint.
Lee for three. All's well.
Which gives him an excuse to act however he wants.
So he thinks. Off the glass and in. Houck. Back to Boogie. Dump off Handlockton. They flew right by.
But the concerns continue. Do they have enough depth in the backcourt and play make? But if those guys can play well together at the same time, that's what makes them a Final Four contender.
McGurran drops it off. Here's Castro. And the corner three buried. And another jump dunk. This is Condon throwing it down.
Quietly, 5 points, 9 boards, 6 assists. It just shows you how many weapons this Florida team has. They know exactly where they were going to get their lead from.
Bland rattles one home with that boxer, the pet puppy, back in for your senior picture. 3-ball for Autry. Toppin had 30 and 11 for the Red Raiders, but Trevin Brazil answered with a 24 in our first game of the Auto Nation Orange Bowl Basketball Classic today. 3-ball good. Jean.
If they can catch him.
Boom.
I mean, they wanted to foul with confidence as an offensive threat. And we mentioned in the first half and talk with Talk. It also does, it's psychologically, it has the team saying, hey, look, we're a new team instead of constantly worrying.
That was our buddy Lee without the beard, wasn't it?
That's right.
Sean Kelly. He still holds the NCAA record for missing. Bushman beard, and C.J. Frederick, who was with Kentucky at the time, looked at him like, well, for a radio crew, they don't talk very much.
I think you give yourself a chance. You play well against UConn, and them to somewhat fly under the radar a little bit more and just grow at their own pace for the rest of the season, as opposed
lost to Arizona to start the season, and an Arizona team which is
like some of those disappointing losses across the country can't happen during exam season.
NCAA women's volleyball ongoing. Creighton and Kentucky over on Camp 3 for Florida. Todd Golden and the Gators take care of Lexington, Kentucky. It's Creighton and the Cats.